Welcome to today's explainer. We're about to embark on a really profound journey straight into the depths of Surah Al A'raf. And to do this, we'll be guided by the incredibly rich and authoritative insights of Tafseer Zia al Quran. So grab your notebooks, get comfortable, and let's dive right into the wisdom of this classical text.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. Introduction to Surah Al A'raf. 2. Defeating falsehood with truth. 3. Lessons from the prophets. 4. The story of Musa. And 5. Learn with ZKF Academy.
All right, let's jump straight into number 1, Introduction to Surah Al A'raf.
So get this. Surah Al A'raf contains exactly 206 verses. It is literally one of the lengthiest chapters in the entire Qur'an. And here is the really important part for our focused learners out there. It is a Meccan revelation. Why does that matter? Well, knowing it was revealed in Mecca means this chapter was delivered during a time of intense ideological struggle. It focuses heavily on establishing pure monotheism, the reality of the afterlife, and the absolute inevitability of divine justice, all before the Muslims even migrated to Medina.
By anchoring our explainer today in the Taruf, or the introduction page from Tafseer Zia al Quran, we're making sure we actually get beneath the surface. The text clearly explains that the direct addresses here were the polytheists of Mecca. Basically, the surah acts as this brilliant, systematic dismantling of their completely baseless beliefs. Moving right along to section 2, defeating falsehood with truth. It's essentially a massive clash of ideas. On one side, we have divine truth. It's clear, it's historically backed, and it's intellectually sound. On the other side, the polytheistic falsehoods of that era. The Tafsir highlights how this surah meticulously, almost surgically, addresses the flawed logic of the Meccan elite. It exposes how their idols and all those superstitious practices had absolutely no foundation whatsoever. The narrative isn't just pointing a finger and saying, hey, you're wrong. It actively invites the human mind to reflect, using beautifully structured arguments to invalidate those false concepts and replace them with divine logic. But true understanding requires organized learning. The Tafsir provides this amazing detailed breakdown of subjects, categorizing all the arguments, the parables, and the rulings, so you can digest this immense wisdom systematically. When you study the Quran with a resource like this, you aren't just skimming words on a page, you're analyzing a highly organized framework that is literally designed to challenge your intellect and elevate your soul.
That brings us to part 3, Lessons from the Prophets.
The Tafsir walks us through this rapid succession of historical accounts. We're looking at Prophet Nuh, Prophet Hud, Saleh, Lut, and Shu'aib. Now, pay attention to the pattern here because it's fascinating. Each of these extraordinary individuals was sent to their respective nations to guide them. And they didn't just show up empty-handed. They brought undeniable, completely logical proofs. Yet what was the response? Just as the Tafsir notes, time and time again, they faced arrogance, mockery, and outright rejection from the elites of their societies. These aren't just ancient stories, guys. They are literal case studies in human sociology and the incredible stubbornness of the human ego when it's confronted with the truth.
Okay, let's look at section 4, the story of Musa. When we dive into these specific accounts, we uncover this wild psychological dynamic. Musa wasn't just fighting one battle. He was basically fighting a two-front war. On one side, you have him confronting the ultimate tyrant, Pharaoh, and his deeply entrenched establishment. But on the other side, and honestly, this is arguably just as difficult, he had to deal with the broken, subdued spirit of his own people, the Israelites. Let's break down that first front for a second. Pharaoh and his inner circle were just utterly intoxicated by their wealth and political power. It is the ultimate danger of arrogance. Even when Prophet Musa presented clear, undeniable miracles, proofs so absolute that even Pharaoh's own hired magicians fell in prostration because they recognized the truth instantly, the political elite still refused to submit. Their worldly positions were just way too precious to them. They were completely blinded by the illusion of their own authority. But here is where the Tafsir provides a frankly brilliant insight into human psychology. It says a nation subjected to long-term slavery loses its courage and ambition, relying on others instead of taking action. The Israelites had been oppressed for so long that they developed this intense slave mentality. Even after Musa came to liberate them, their internal drive was just completely shattered. They were hesitant, they lacked the courage to actually strive for their own freedom, and they were constantly waiting for miracles rather than taking action themselves. It is such a powerful reminder that physical chains are way easier to break than mental ones. Oppression doesn't just take away your physical freedom. If left unchecked, it literally takes away your ambition. And that perfectly sets up our final section, number 5, Learn with ZKF Academy. This psychological lesson we just talked about, the absolute need to break free from mental barriers, from ignorance, and from spiritual stagnation, it leads us perfectly to the practical application of today's explainer. And that is exactly why I am super excited to introduce you to ZKF Online Quran Academy. Just like the Tafseer brings structure to these complex divine texts, ZKF Academy brings structure to your personal learning journey. If you're ready to break out of the mold, elevate your understanding, and dive deep into the Quran with the guidance of qualified experts, this is for sure your premier destination. Getting started is incredibly easy. You can just call them directly at 0092-331-3986. Or if you prefer WhatsApp, reach out to them at 00971-50-331-3986. Grab your phone and save those numbers right now. And hey, of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel and like this explainer. It really helps support the spread of quality, structured Islamic education globally. To wrap things up, I want to leave you with this final thought, drawn directly from the struggles of Musa's people. We all have internal barriers, right? Whether it's habits, complacency, or just a lack of structured knowledge, these things keep us from reaching our highest potential. So how will you break free from yours today? Taking that step to learn, to read, to truly understand. That is exactly how the journey begins. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious, stay focused, and I will catch you in the next one.